Etepu, this is Kasankma Keparu, son of Maat, with a special exclusive presentation for my Patreon supporters. And in this presentation, I want to show you how to manifest $1 million. Now, this may seem like hype or clickbait, but I am actually going to break down a formula by which you can manifest in your life $1 million. Actually, you can use the formula to manifest anything you want. You can get a car, a house, a mate, a career. You can be famous. If you follow this formula, the sky is the limit. You can manifest anything you want. And I have been using this formula for the majority of my life, and I have attracted a lot of money. I've been in the film industry, gained a lot of money, lost it. That's just how it comes. And we understand the definition of abundance, which is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it, which is why Ma'at also corresponds to consistency, always having what you need. And I can say that's been kind of like the theme of my life, is being able to attract the things I need when I need them. But our belief system, which comes from living in this Western society, tells us that $1 million is a lot of money and it's very difficult to acquire. We must get rid of that. We must purge that from our mindset. And this formula is going to show you not only how to purge that, but to adopt a new belief system that acquiring the things or the objects that we desire are fairly simple. So let's go into this formula. But first off, let me just say this last thing, that we believe that the individuals that we see in mainstream media, or maybe even know, who are multimillionaires, who are rich, who have amassed a lot of money, are smart. They're intelligent. When that is not so, most of the people that I've interacted with who are millionaires and entrepreneurs aren't very intelligent. And it took a while for me to realize that and to accept that. A good friend of mine, she has a top position at this advertising agency, said it best. She says, some people succeed in spite of themselves. So don't ever believe that coming into a large lump sum of money is not possible for you. It is very possible. It's all a matter of reshaping your belief system, shaping the programming that we've gone through. And this programming is what I call is the MCA, the Mass Collective Agreement. You see, whether you accept this or not, you are accountable for how other people believe, because we're all in this together. Ma'at tells us that there's an interdependence and interrelationship between all things. Ma'at is the goddess of abundance, wealth. So even though we may not subscribe to a certain belief system, there are those of us around us, I should say, who do subscribe to a belief system, and that will directly impact us, because there is that connection there. This belief system may have been formed in the inner planes. This is prior to us manifesting in this third dimensional experience. We came together to agree on certain things, that there'll be physicality, that there'll be a ground, a building, a plane, a train, a phone, a TV, for us to interact with. But then it goes further than that. When the masses believe that coming into $1 million is difficult, even though we may not believe that, we know that thoughts are transferable, that those energy vibrations will affect us and we will take on that belief system. This is why in Vadim Zeland's book, Reality Transurfing, he talks about the pendulums and how you have to be very careful what you think, because you do not want to come under the guise of a pendulum which will control your thinking and dictate your actions. We want to break away from the group mindset, the herd mentality, for the sole purposes of coming into the realization of our own power, of God men and God women. Here's the formula and how we're going to do this. How to get $1 million. Now, the first thing, of course, is you need to set an objective. For some people, the objective of getting $1 million seems daunting. So we're going to have to address that belief system. But the reason why I picked $1 million is because it represents a strong desire. It strikes an emotional accord within us. And this desire is part of the conscious mind. We first think about what we want consciously. The next thing that we need to do, which is very important, is to transfer that desire to the subconscious mind. And if you read any books like The Law of Attraction, The Secret, Reality Transurfing, you'll see that they talk about really having that objective that you're going for dominate your mindset, that you think about it constantly. And I call this the obsession factor. This needs to be the predominant thought or emotion that you dwell upon on a day-to-day basis. You literally need to be obsessed with this, so much so that you break away from reality and deny the reality around you, and dwell in the obsession of your thought. And that thought is you acquiring the object of your desire, the $1 million. Because when you become so entrenched in something and so obsessed by something, it then gets transferred to the subconscious mind, and that's exactly what we want. The next thing is you must have a faith and belief, not in an external force to bring you the thing that you're looking for, but a faith and belief in your own power as God men, God women. You must believe in self and understand there is no external force, there's no cavalry coming to rescue you, that it's the power within you that you have to manifest anything that you need. Next is a positive emotion. The object of your desire, you must want it. It must be an imperative in your life, but you must feel good about it. Next, and this is the one thing that a lot of people have trouble with, you have to let it go. This is the amen state. You cannot manifest something when you're not in a state of peace. When the mind is agitated, you get stuck in 3D, third dimension, or third density. Density is the solid, hardest form of something. Nothing can come out of that because everything emanates from a state of peace at rest. That is the source of your power. And letting go also means that you must be not invested in the outcome, meaning you must be okay with it and you must be okay without it. So what I am saying to you is this. The typical cycle of what you want to do in following this formula is 28 days of full moon cycle. For 28 days, you focus on the desire, you become obsessed. It permeates your thinking. It's all you think about. You disconnect from the reality, which there is no reality. It's all subjective. You believe in your own power, and you have a strong positive emotion regarding the object of your desire. In this case, $1 million. Or if there's something else that you want that strikes more of an emotional accord with you, then think about that. And after those 28 days of really indulging in this, thinking about it, becoming obsessed over it, you let it go, you forget about it. But you still desire it, you still want it. That's the conundrum, that's the paradox. Wanting something, being okay without having it, but still desiring it. Next, we look at our belief system. Now, when I studied the most successful people, I noticed that they had two qualities that the majority of people lacked. One was reference experience and the other one was the meta frame. Reference experience means that when these successful people look back upon challenges in their life, they always could see instances where they overcame these challenges. So it was easy for them to believe in themselves when they encountered a new challenge. The next thing was a meta frame. The meta frame is an NLP term which talks about how you look at things in life. And successful people always looked at things as if they are the winners. They can overcome anything that comes their way. They were confident and self-assured. Our core belief system, which we have from today, which we operate from, is created by social engineering, the dominant society, or as I said previously, the mass collective agreement. And this tells us that things are difficult. Acquiring $1 million is difficult. You cannot manifest things through metaphysical means. We're taught to go to business school, to learn all about business, to put together a business plan to incorporate, but we're never taught to go within and to use our God power to manifest the things in our lives, because they don't want you to understand that. They don't want you to know this incredible power that exists. But for you, you'll need to depart from this group thinking, this herd mentality, and adopt a new core belief system, which is the metaframe of truth, of Ma'at. And that is, you have within you the power to manifest anything. I had a student ask me, he says, well, you recommend we do an oracle reading on if the object of our desire is within our means or our destiny to achieve it. What happens if the oracle tells you it's not? And I said, well, we have to understand that the oracle readings, really, the oracle reads the energy and how it's moving at that particular time. And if it's moving in a certain direction, say a direction of closing, meaning that you're not going to obtain this thing, that doesn't mean that the door is all the way closed for you. It just means that the energy is going to have a tendency to move in that direction. But since you are a divine being, you can supersede that. If your belief in your power and yourself is strong enough to where, again, you disconnect from the reality around you. You ignore what you see in 3D, and you dwell on your imagination, the visualization that you hold. Then that will overcome anything else. Now, I want you to understand you're already manifesting. You are a reality manifesting machine. You unconsciously manifest all that you see around you. It's on autopilot. You just don't realize you're doing it. But the key things that you will manifest in your life are two things: your fears and your happiness. You see, these are two things that are a strong emotional output for us. And because our fears are so strong, we tend to manifest them. You see, the power within you, the Osirian power, your spirit, doesn't discern between what it manifests. It just manifests based on what is the strongest emotion at the time. And if your strongest emotion at that particular time is dwelling on the worst case scenario, then it's going to manifest that. Or if you're in such a state of joy, it will manifest whatever it is you're thinking about in that state of joy. So I want you to be cognizant of that you're going to manifest something. So take control and start to focus on what you're manifesting. Now, the way that we can assure that we are at the driver's seat, as in the tarot deck, the Rider-Waite tarot deck, the chariot, and you'll see the chariot has two horses in front of it, representing the left and right hemispheres of the brain, and steering a center course, is that the way we can control this is to penetrate the depths of human consciousness, and anything is possible. It is through trance hypnosis is the only way, and is the way that our ancestors practiced this. We were taken into a deep state of trance and then seated with the ideas and beliefs that will enable us to manifest wonders in our lives. Unfortunately, as I alluded to before, we are bombarded by the incorrect belief systems that limit us. We're told we're sinners, we're sinful creatures. We're told that there is an external force, a God, outside of ourselves. But we're never taught that we are God and that we can manifest stuff, that we don't need to rely on a savior, that everything that we need in this life is within us, that there is no outside world. It's an illusion, it's Maya. See, when you adapt this new core belief that the power resides in you and that you're manifesting the reality that you see before you, and that if you hold on to a strong belief, it will eventually manifest within the plane of space-time. Let's go further. Here is the secret. There are 3 techniques that you can use to manifest the things in your life. Use whatever technique you feel comfortable with, but understand that all 3 work. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, because a lot of people, they start down this path and they get frustrated because they don't see the results that they were looking for. Some things take longer than others to manifest in this 3D realm. But rest assured, if you stay the course, it will manifest. You're planting a seed, nurture it, water it, and watch it come to fruition. However, if you don't nurture it, if you don't water it, then it will die. And then understand that the stronger your belief, not in the outside savior or outside power, but the stronger your belief in yourself and in your own reality, the more powerful you become as God-man, God-woman, or as a magi, or as an Assyrian. Technique number 1. Don't desire what you already have. Feel as if you already have it. This stops us from getting the things that we want from the get-go. When you desire something, you're thwarting your efforts to get it. You're telling your subconscious mind, I am lacking. I don't have it. So therefore, what do you manifest? You manifest lack. You must think about the thing that you want, whether it be the $1 million, the house. Visualize yourself as already having it. Feel it. Dwell upon that visualization day in and day out for 28 days. The language of the universe is emotion. It doesn't understand verbal commands. It only understands emotions, feelings. The stronger you feel something, the stronger your belief is, the more likely it is to manifest. Technique number 2, rewrite your past to believe you had it. Experience that feeling. This is called reference experience. If you want $1 million, think about that time when you got the $1 million, what it felt like, what you did with the money. And this is a way of tricking the mind into manifesting it. Because when you believe this, when you experience this, then there becomes a disconnect. So the subconscious mind says, oh wow, we are referencing a time of when we had $1 million. Yet, present circumstances show that we don't have the $1 million, so this needs to be reconciled. So what does the subconscious mind, or the spirit we call it, do? It manifests the money, because you are recalling a period in time in the past of when you got it. So to be consistent, the spirit will manifest it in this present moment. And if you want to really understand how it works, there is no past, there is no future, there's only the now moment. So when you are referencing the past or thinking about the past, in reality, the spirit thinks it is the present. So try that technique. You may go back and think about that time when you got the mansion and you got that yacht. Dwell on that. Feel that experience. And then watch it come to fruition. Technique number 3. Rewind time. Replay the current day and see it as if you would have wanted it to play out. You may go through a very challenging day. Things may have not worked out for you. That's okay, we all experience that. Before you go to bed at night, replay the day in your head. But this time, see yourself being successful, seeing it being played out the way you wanted it to work. You wanted it to unfold. And that is very powerful. When that happens and when that occurs, then your reality will shift. Let me give an example. You are dealing with your boss and your boss is unhappy with your work. In fact, your boss chastises you. You feel belittled and berated. Well, what happens then? You go home, and just as you go to bed, you replay it and you see yourself being praised by your boss, that your boss is telling you what a great job you've done. You see, what happens then is that reality is in accordance with the observer. So then you're actually changing the past of what actually happened. The next day, you'll see a change in the attitude of your boss, as if the previous day never happened. And it will be miraculous. I don't get hung up on maybe I said the wrong thing, or I wish I had said this, or I wish I had done that. Because in my mind, I'll replay it and see myself doing the things and acting the way I wanted to. I often work with actors and they'll go into an audition and they may leave the audition saying, I nailed it. Or more than likely, they'll say, I wish I had done better. I was not at my best that day. And I tell them to replay it in their mind and see themselves giving an excellent performance. And if they internalize it and if they believe it, the next day or even that week, they'll get a call from the casting director to come back for another audition. Because you see, everyone in our lives is really an avatar. We create them to have this experience. So I want you to look at three techniques and pick one that you feel comfortable with and that you can utilize. But keep in mind that getting $1 million, getting the things that you want, is totally within your grasp. And that the only thing that may be preventing you from manifesting it or acquiring it is a false belief system put upon you by social engineering and society. And the trick for you is to go deep into the depths of your subconscious mind to rewrite the programming, to rewire your thinking, to create new synaptic connections in the brain. One where you realize that you actually live a life with no limitations. Now, these things that I've outlined for you, these techniques, they take time. It's like working out at the gym. The more you do it, the stronger you become, and the bigger your muscles will become. Keep working the technique. If you don't see the results right away, don't get discouraged. Keep going, keep moving forward. You'll become proficient with this. Your belief will get stronger. And eventually, from the small manifestations, you'll move to the bigger manifestations. And you'll begin to see and build your faith that these techniques work, that you have been fooled, you have been lied to by society, to depend on only external things when you really should be depending upon you, yourself, your true self, the divine being within you, to manifest the things in your life. So I encourage you to try these techniques for 28 days, at which point you'll let it go and then observe. Many people see synchronicities in their lives. And if you don't know what synchronicity is, it was a term that was coined by Carl Jung, which talks about coincidences. You see, reality will let you know it's working on the thing that you desire, that it's setting up things and circumstances to bring it to you. And you'll know this by observing and seeing the coincidences. If you're thinking about $1 million, if you're focusing on manifesting $1 million, suddenly you'll see in your social circle, people start to talk about $1 million. You'll see programs on TV about $1 million. This lets you know that the universe is working toward your goal, working for your benefit, and to stay the course and to not give up. Sometimes you can manifest things within a week, within a month. Other times it may take a year, 2 years. But if you believe in yourself and you believe in your power, understand it will manifest. Give it time. I want to thank you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. This is Kasank Ma Keparu, son of Ma and Tahuti. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amun Ra.